A boy cannot control his hormones. Sir, stop thinking about the beautiful and distant Ramona. So, today we will see Oh Ramona. The story begins with Andrei, who was at a party trying to gather the courage to talk to Ramona. He approaches her and they start dancing. Minutes later, Andrei heads to the bathroom, but upon entering, he realizes it is dirty. When he comes out, one of his classmates enters to inform the other guests about what Andrei did in the restroom, humiliating him and causing Ramona to leave. The next day, Andrei goes to work with his mother, and he asks her about the success his father had with girls. She tells him that he was very popular, managing to be with the ones he wanted. Upon arrival, he meets Alan and they talk about the party they will attend later. At the party, Andrei observes Ramona. Suddenly, his friends come over to give him advice on how to win her over. He starts dancing to attract her attention, achieving his goal. Then she stops and tells him she has something to show him before taking him to another room. Ramona begins to seduce him for an intimate encounter, but he tells her he wants something formal. She just laughs and continues, but he keeps talking, rejecting her. This makes Ramona angry and she leaves the room, leaving him exposed in front of the other guests. In the morning, Andrei talks to his friends about what happened with Ramona. He tells them he regrets rejecting her. They agree, mentioning that he lost the opportunity of a lifetime. But Silvio tells him he did well as she is not just for having fun. Days later, Andrei realizes that Silvio is dating Ramona. The next day at school, Andrei approaches Silvio to discuss his relationship with Ramona and tells him he should break up with her for the sake of their friendship. But Silvio gets angry and hits him. In the afternoon, Andrei talks to his mother. She asks him about the bruise on his face, to which he begins to explain how he feels about Ramona and what happened with her that day at the party. His mother starts to console him and tells him not to take that girl so seriously as it is just a passing thing. So, to distract him, she suggests they go on vacation together to the beach. Andrei arrives at the hotel and upon entering the lobby, he sees the young receptionist, captivated by her beauty. Minutes later, Andrei talks to the hotel barista and asks him to introduce him to the receptionist. Andrei approaches her to ask her name. The girl introduces herself and says her name is Anamina. He asks her out to get to know each other better, but she just laughs and then says they can go for a walk on the beach later. Andrei and Anamina walk along the beach. While they talk, she opens up to him and tells him she has a boyfriend, so she doesn't want to give him false hopes. Andrei feels discouraged, but he still wants to get to know her. Minutes later, he tries to win her over again by singing to her, and she ends up kissing him. After the walk, they return to the hotel for a romantic moment. In the morning, Andrei's mother comes to wake him up. He gets ready and leaves his room to introduce Anamina to her. But she is no longer at the reception. So he goes out to look for her and finds her outside the lobby. He approaches to greet her, but she tells him she no longer works there because her supervisor saw them enter the same room the night before. So they both say goodbye on their way home. Andrei tells his mother about Anamina. She asks him if he still feels something for the girl from his school, but he tells her he no longer cares. Minutes later, Andrei receives a message from Ramona saying she needs his help because Silvio hit her. Andrei arrives at Ramona's house and enters her room. He asks her if she is okay, but she tells him no. One accuses him of ignoring her calls. Andrei tells her he has no commitment to her since he now has a girlfriend. But Ramona doesn't believe him and starts mocking him, leading to an argument where she hits him and then blackmails him with the mark Silvio left on her face. The next day, Andrei talks to Alan about what Ramona plans to do with him. After school, Andrei's mother notices he seems a bit off, so she asks him to explain what is bothering him. He tells her that Ramona started spreading lies about him because he was ignoring her. And Andrei begins to feel confused about his feelings, but his mother tells him not to give up on Anamina as she is better for him. Later, Andrei tries to find Anamina's number, manages to find it, and decides to call her. He proposes another date at the beach, and she agrees. At the beach, Andrei and Anamina meet at a bar. They both start dancing and then she asks him to join her for an intimate encounter, but a security guard catches them. He asks Andrei what they were doing. He tells the truth, and the guard hits him. Upon returning from the bar, Anamina tends to Andrei's wounds before continuing with their encounter. Later, Andrei talks to Anamina and asks her if she has told her boyfriend anything, but she gets upset, so she prefers not to talk about it. Andrei follows her and asks for explanations about what she just said. Anamina begins to tell him about her boyfriend and says that meeting again was a mistake, but Andrei interrupts her, refusing to let her go, so she asks him to leave. Andrei reflects on what just happened, accepting that he no longer has a chance with her. The next day, Andrei vents to Alan about his romantic problems. Then a couple of girls approach them and tell them they know the truth. So they think they are very brave since Ramona told them that Andrei is actually gay. He gets upset and tells them it's a lie. But they explain that everyone at school already knows. Hearing this, Alan advises him that he should confront her after class. Andrei visits Carla to calm down. She offers him a cigarette to relax, and after a while he starts to feel strange. He asks her for help, but she only gives him absurd advice to take advantage of the situation. When it's over, Carla tells him not to move from the sofa, but as soon as she leaves, he runs away naked. A patrol stops him for being on the streets without clothes. The next day, Andrei's mother wakes him up as Alan came to visit their house. He appears confused, so he asks what they are doing so early in his room. Alan begins to explain that the day before he went out with a girl, but she told him that all the girls think he is gay because of the rumors. But Andrei tells him that it is not necessary to end their friendship, as he will confront Ramona and Silvio. However, Alan holds him back and tells him he needs to calm down. Days later, Andrei starts exercising, looking for a makeover to begin Operation Ramona. After changing his look, Andrei enters a cafe where he finds Ramona. All the girls in the place fall for him as he walks by. And when he reaches her, she approaches him to chat, but he interrupts her, ending up face to face, staring at each other. Then he invites her to his house, takes her by the chin, and kisses her. As he leaves, Andrei mentions that he has completed the first part of his plan. The next day, Ramona starts to behave differently with Andrei, treating him decently, making it seem like they are on good terms. Later, Andrei meets with Carla to talk. He mentions that he has something important to tell her, but she misinterprets it, thinking he is about to confess his feelings, so she rejects him before he can say anything. Andrei plays along and tells her that he will never forget her. Back in class, Alan gives Andrei the signal to continue with the plan. He tries to distract Silvio while Carla takes the flowers that had been left at the place, making her believe they are a gift from Silvio. She reads the note accepting the proposal and drawing the attention of the whole class. He tells her she is crazy and starts humiliating her in front of everyone, to which she responds by loudly revealing the secret they had between them. After witnessing that scene, Andrei tells Ramona to meet up at night. Later, Ramona meets Andrei to enter an abandoned place, and they walk through the building to reach the top. Upon arriving at the balcony, they admire the view of the city, and Andrei tells her he wanted to invite her to dinner to confess that she is the most beautiful girl he has ever seen. They start drinking and talking about life. Suddenly, Andrei begins to see her as Anemona, but he snaps back to reality and kisses Ramona. They continue their evening, and Ramona invites him to spend the night at her house. Upon arrival, Andrei and Ramona start having an intimate encounter. But suddenly, their parents wake up and leave the place. They then go up to the room to continue their encounter. But halfway through, Andrei tells her that nothing will happen between them. Ramona gets angry and ends up hurting her hand. The next day, Ramona wakes Andrei up by bringing him breakfast in bed and then apologizes for everything she has done, as he has been the only person who has cared for her. She asks for another chance to fix her mistakes. Andrei and Ramona start dating. She tells him she wants to do things right, but suddenly he receives a message from Anamina mentioning that she will arrive in an hour in his city. So she hopes he will welcome her with her favorite flowers. Ramona asks him what is wrong, and he tells her he has to look for his other girlfriend. She gets angry for a moment but then thinks it is a joke, causing Andrei to flee the place. Meanwhile, Anamina arrives at the bus station to wait for Andrei, where he finds her and kisses her, creating a romantic atmosphere. They arrive at Andrei's house and his mother shows Anamina the family photo album while telling embarrassing stories about his childhood. But suddenly he receives a message from Ramona asking where he was as she needed to talk to him. Andrei calls Ramona, who starts to complain about him standing her up that afternoon. He apologizes and promises to make it up to her. She asks to see him at night to forgive him. But Andrei starts making excuses, causing Ramona to begin to suspect. After finishing the call, Anamina asks him if he is okay, to which Andrei replies that it's nothing important. At dinner, Andrei's mother tells him that they have problems. He asks what it's about, But she tells him that she is actually referring to him, so she asks him to tell her about his situation. Andrei shares his problems, and she tells him that what he is doing is not right, so he needs to decide soon if he doesn't want to hurt anyone, but he can't decide because he doesn't understand his feelings. His mother tries to help him and tells him that if he really cared for one of them, he wouldn't have noticed the other person, so he must make the right decision. Later, Andrei returns to his room with Anamina to have another romantic encounter. When they finish, Ramona sends him a message saying that she is in front of his house because she needs to see him. Andrei goes down and talks to her outside. She starts to provoke him, but he stops her to have a serious conversation about their relationship, deciding to end it because he doesn't really love her. She refuses to let him go, but Andrei pushes her away to enter his house, leaving her outside. Years later, Andrei and Anamina continue their life together in Bucharest. He has become a famous writer, forming a happy life with her, mentioning that leaving Ramona was the best decision he could have made. Later, he meets his old friend Alan at a bar, but suddenly Ramona arrives at their table to talk to Andrei. She tries to seduce him, flattering all his achievements. She tells him that she hasn't stopped thinking about him since the last time they saw each other, but he stops her and tells her that it's too late for her, as he now has a wife with whom he is happy. Ramona is offended by being rejected and follows him outside the bar. Ramona manages to catch up with Andrei and explains that she is actually engaged, so he has nothing to worry about. She offers to take him home, and he agrees. On the way, Ramona starts telling him about her fiancé while Andrei sends messages to his wife. She notices that he is not paying attention to her, so she tries to make him jealous, but Andrei continues to ignore her. Then Ramona gets furious, causing her to start speeding, making him panic and ask her to stop the car so they can talk calmly. Ramona stops the car, and Andrei asks her what is wrong, to which she confesses that her engagement is not going well, sometimes wondering how it would be if they were together, regretting not having treated him well from the beginning. But suddenly she starts to take advantage of the situation. The next day, Andrei vents to Alan and tells him that he feels guilty for having cheated on Anamina. So he decides to tell her the truth. But when he gets home, he realizes that she has left. Well, until next time. Goodbye.